Hello, and welcome to Tangle Time Arts. My name is Nana Heron, and I'm a certified Zentangle teacher. And we are back for day 19 of my impromptu Advent Tangles. And for day 19, this project will be a little more practical than the previous ones. A couple days ago, when we were doing a project with Sime, I was thinking how lovely it would be to put some fragments in the petals of Sime. And so that inspired me to do this project, to take a look at fragments, because the year is almost over and I really haven't done much with fragments actually. And fragments are fun. Fragments and reticula are fun, and there's endless possibilities with them. So let's take a look. Today for our project, I actually have two of the 3Z tiles. I have a Renaissance one and a white one. And if you don't have these tiles, that's okay. You can just draw a triangle. They are roughly they are about 3.5 inches by 3.5 inches on all three sides, and they're equilateral triangles, so they're the same on all three sides. We have our basic black pen, #2 pencil, and tortillon. And then for some color, I am using these gold and silver, they're Jelly Roll shadow pens, and they're really fun, and I like to use them once in a while. It's kind of a luxury. If you don't have these, any gel pens in your favorite colors would work, or colored pencils or markers or watercolors, just something to add color with. All right. So reticula and fragments, what are they? Well, we use grids sometimes for our tangles, and grids can come in many different forms. And these grids are these awesome, amazing structures that we call them reticula. And those are inked in. And then within those spaces, we put our fragments. And the fragments are small tangles, small patterns that are drawn within the reticula grids. And fragments can come in different shapes. They can be square, triangle, circle, even Pangea and Mulligan, or seed shapes. But today we're going to focus on the triangle. Everything is all triangles, and then we will put tangles within those triangles. So I am going to kind of put in a frame before we put in our grid. So I'm going to start with a dot in each corner, and then a line from dot to dot. And then I'll set my pencil aside and pick up my pen. And I'm just going to actually go over that right away because we definitely need that. And some of you maybe don't need to do the pencil line, but I find it helpful in the beginning when learning. From here, we are going to divide this triangle into thirds. So I'm not going to measure, I'm just kind of going to eyeball it and draw a line at about a third. Maybe I'm a little over. And then another one here. And then we're going to divide this middle section into more triangles. So if you picture a line coming down here, we are just going to put in a V. And now we have more triangles. From this triangle, we're going to do the same thing. We're picturing a line coming down, so it's roughly there. And we're going to put in a V. And the same thing here, picturing a line coming down. Put a dot there if you need to. And then draw in a V. So now we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 triangles in our grid, our reticula. And now we can put in our fragments. So we're working with a triangular fragment, and this one is known as F12, and it's really simple. We are going to work with slightly curved lines. So picture the center here. I'm not going to put a dot there. We are just going to draw a curve about halfway and sort of coming in, but not all the way to the center. And then we're going to curve back out. And we can rotate, and we can do the same thing on this side and rotate again and do the same thing. So we have, it kind of looks like 3 petals. And we're going to keep repeating that. Now I'm working in the spaces where the triangles are all pointing up, and we'll deal with the other ones after that. So we're just repeating the same curves over and over again. And if you don't need to rotate, that's okay too. Sometimes I can just mirror the shapes or the strokes. So we finished all of those triangles pointing up. And to make things easier for me, I'm just going to rotate this around so that now these triangles are pointing up. And then I'm going to do the same thing we were doing. So it's a lot of repetition. All right. And it's already filled in. So now you can start to see these other shapes start to form inside. So depending on how you shade this or add color to it, you can get different patterns within the patterns. Like I see a hexagon here, or I see like a large triangle here. So you can play around with that. I like this would be a fun one to do several different ways. But I'm thinking of sort of like a little Christmas tree here. So I'm now going to take my green, so it's a gold shadow pen, but with a green color to it. If you have a green pen of some type or colored pencil, you could switch to that. If you don't have any other types of colored pens, you can just follow along with the black pen. That's totally fine too. So I am going to use the green and I am going to add color to these areas that are outside of the three petals. So this shadow pen, I like these because they are wonderfully juicy and they have this beautiful metallic look to them. I don't know if you can kind of see it. Um, Kind of shimmers and they're just very, very pretty. They come in several different colors. So for this first tile, I'm using the green and the kind of rose colored one. And maybe a little bit of the orange. We'll see. So I'm just inking in these areas that are outside of the petals. I am being very careful, um, trying not to touch those areas because it will take a little longer for this to dry. And your black line may or may not show through. Let's see, I'm going to rotate this a little bit so that I can get to these areas. This goes pretty quickly. And it's already filled in. And then I'll just kind of show you how wonderfully shimmery that is. So these are definitely a lot of fun. I'm going to put the cap on the green one, and I am going to take the rose one, and I'm actually just going to add a center to these, kind of as if they were flowers, because these are petal-like. I'm not going to color them in entirely. You can if you'd like to, of course. And then I'm going to take um, it's kind of like an orange one, and I'm going to put kind of like a tree topper on this because this one kind of reminds me of a little Christmas tree. So you can just pick any one of the points and then put a little topper on it, kind of like using with a line. I'm just going to put a dot on it and just have it come out from the top. So we have like a little tree. And that is it. That is the F12 um, fragment. And we're done already. It's very quick and it's perfect for if you have areas to fill in. It's just super fun and super easy. So I'm going to flip this over and I am going to put on this one F12. It's a fragment. It's F12. I'll put my name on it and the date. It's 2024 and it's day 19. And that's the F12. So that's finished. And now we're going to do another one because they go pretty quickly. All right, I'm going to set that aside. And now I'm going to take the white one, the white tile. And I'll do the dots again and the lines just because sometimes it can be intimidating just to start right off the bat with the inked line. So let's do this. Okay, just like we did before, we're doing the exact same thing. And we're going to ink in our grid. And then we're going to divide it into thirds. So again, I'm just kind of guessing. And then we're going to put in our other triangles. So picturing this coming down, put a point if you need to. And then do the V. And from this triangle, the same thing, picturing a line coming straight down and then doing a V. And then the same here, like that. So for this one, we are going to do, we're going to work triangle by triangle, and we're going to kind of shade in together, just because this one it's easy to get a little lost in. So I'm going to work with a point facing down towards me this time. And we'll start with this first point. We're just going to divide it in half. So divide the first triangle in half. And then we're making little V shapes in each of those triangles. And from the point of those little triangles, we're going to the initial point there, like that. So it has more of I don't know, it's kind of like a gemstone look, and depending on how you combine these, it definitely could look like a gemstone. And then for this one, I'm just going to use my black pen, and I'm going to ink in these outer areas. And then I'm going to use a gold shadow pen, and I'm going to ink in the smaller one on the right. And then of the two larger ones here, the one on the left. So we're just going to go back and forth and do all of those triangles that with the point coming towards us, okay? So let's take this one and just divide it in half. And then we have our little triangles here. And then a line from the point to the bottom point, like that. And then ink in the triangles on the outer side of each. And I'm just going to switch pens and do the little one on the right. And the larger one on the left. Let's move on to this one. If we do it triangle by triangle, it's very easy. This would look great too if with the black here, if you just want to use a red ink pen. Like the contrast is really, really cool. All right, moving on to this one over here. And then let's just do our other ones that are facing, that have the point coming towards us. And then let's ink in those areas. right, and then switch pens. And we'll do the little triangles on the right. And then the larger ones on the left. Okay, once I have that filled in, now I'm going to rotate so that these triangles, the point is coming towards me. And I'm going to do the same thing. So I'm going to divide this one in half, put in our little V's so that we have little triangles, and then draw a line from the point to the bottom point. I'm going to switch pens. Oh, you know what? We can fill in the black first and then switch pens. I'm getting ahead of myself. So we ink in just like we did before, these outer areas. I always jump to adding color because I love adding color, but we should stick with the process. There we go. Now we can switch pens. And we're going to add to the little triangle on the right and the larger one on the left. So the same with these. Divide in half. Put in the V's. Connect. And divide in half. The little V's. And connect. And then ink in. Ink in the outer areas here. And then add your little bit of color. So this orange shadow pen is more of a silver base, and the green one was more of a gold. So with inking in and adding the little bit of color, so we have actually these stars appear here. So you can kind of see, and so this definitely has more of a silver color to it. I think probably I should have gone with the The red one probably would have looked better, but live and learn. So that is it for this one. We could take our pencil and add some shading to the outside a little bit. We didn't really need that with the other one. But for this one, maybe we need a little shading. And then we can blend that. So this was the B15. There are quite a few different ones that you can just set up the same reticula and try putting them in and rotating them in different directions and seeing how they turn out. So let's fill out the back of this. So this was, we had our fragment. It was B15. B15. Was our Advent Tangles. And this was number 2, and this other one was number 1. Okay. So we have 2 very different results, but from the same grid, from the same reticula. The only difference was we used 2 different fragments. We had F12 and B15. And oops, I got to rotate that around because I put a little topper on that. So this one turned out more like tree-like with little flowers maybe inside. And this one has the star shapes in it. So that was our exercise in fragments and reticula. Very important exercise, actually, and very useful too. So I just wanted to be able to work our way through different techniques through this month. So yeah, that's it for our introduction to fragments and reticula. Play around with them. Instead of triangles, you might want to try squares or circles or seed shapes. Uh, there's several different shapes that you can use. And they're really useful when you need to fill a space. So if you have a large space that you're trying to fill, this is a really cool way to do it because you get the patterns within the patterns. And the larger the area is, the more you see those patterns. So give it a try and let me know how it goes because this was a little different from our other projects. And I will be back tomorrow with something different, but maybe a little similar. So we'll see what's up. I think there's snow coming my way, so if you're in the Midwest, stay safe and stay well. And remember, I love you guys and have a great day. Bye.